Hi everyone, it's Ellie. Welcome back to my channel. So I've been really inspired lately by some water marbling videos I've seen on YouTube, so I have all the supplies and I thought, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So for the water, it's important to use room temperature filtered water. And for the cup, I have a small little pudding cup that I had and I washed out. I'm just going to go ahead and add the water here to the cup. And I have never done this before. This will be my very first time. I thought it'd be fun to just put the camera on and see what happens. So this is the tool I'll be using to water marble in the cup. It's the smallest dotting tool that I have. It's very small. Hopefully you can see just how small and precise it is. Not sure how well it's going to work with water marbling, but it's the smallest thing I have, so I'll give it a shot. So I tried to pick polishes that I didn't wear very much and or that were just inexpensive. So the first one is Sally Hansen's Pacific Blue. The next is Sally Hansen Coral Reef. It's a pretty peachy pink color, and I'm opening all of these up just so it's quicker to drip them into the water. This one's by Zoya. It's called Dree. It's an army green color. This is by Sinful colors. It's called Sugar Rush. It's a pretty light blue. The next one is by Milani. It's called Yellow Whiz. It's a bright yellow. This is by Sinful colors. It's called Blue Crushin. It's kind of a greenish blue teal color. And finally, this pink is by Sinful colors and it's called Pink Forever. It's kind of a blue-based, cool, medium pink. I also grabbed a few extra sheets of paper towel just to wipe off my dotting tool every few strokes on the polish to keep it from getting too gummy. So to practice the actual dipping into the water, I have these small clear spoons that I got from Gordon Foods. I like these because they're clear so I can really see the placement of where I'm dipping in for practicing. Okay, so here goes nothing. I'm starting by applying some drops of blue here. It kind of spreads and then retracts again, so I'm not really sure what that's about. Maybe it's my technique, I don't know. So I added 3 drops just to get a nice solid ring of color there. And then I'm going in with yellow next. And this one spreads really nicely, so put that in and you can kind of see it spread out really well. And then finally I'm putting in the pink. So I'm going to repeat this color pattern until I get started. My drip of the blue there got a little bit off center, but that's okay. I also grabbed some Q-tips just to help clean off the surface of the water after I dip. So let's start out here. I start by drawing a line up and down in the polish with my dotting tool, and then also to the top and bottom. And I try to secure it onto the edges of the cups just because I've seen that done on YouTube, but then I'm kind of trying to pull towards the middle and do a little dip to try to clean up those petals, but it's not really working very well. I'm just going to kind of keep practicing and see what I end up with. So I was trying to make some kind of flower or petal pattern here, but it ended up looking kind of messy. So I thought, well, I'll try swirling it to see what that ends up looking like. So I did a few swirls and then kind of liked how the inside looked here. So that's what I'm going to try to aim for. So I'm just going to align my spoon and dip in. Then I'll use my Q-tip to clean up the surface of the water before I slowly remove the spoon. So this is the final result. I'm really not that happy with it, but for my first try, I'll take it. It ended up looking a little bit muddy just because the colors blended together. So cleaned off the surface of the water and I'm going to try again here. I'm using the coral color first, and then putting in a drip of the army green next. And the green really spreads out a lot better than the coral does. You can see how it kind of just disperses and spreads nicely. And then a drop of the blue. So I'm going to repeat this color pattern to build my bullseye. Okay, so I'm ready to start making my design. So for this one, I try anchoring the sides of the design onto the cup first. Maybe that will make a difference. Now I'm drawing some shapes into the center of the polish, and I'm kind of dipping in, hopefully to make some kind of symmetrical petals. So I make 4 little petals into the middle, and then I draw the opposite way to kind of make pointier petals going in the outward direction. So I do that on all 4 segments, and then I make one more final dip in the middle just to clean it up. So in particular, I like how this petal looks, so that's what I'm going to try to aim for when I dip in. So just trying to find the best angle to put my spoon and then slowly dip into the water. And I found that it's kind of a double-edged sword. The more dry the polish, kind of the more difficult to drag and control into a design. But the drier it is, the easier it is to clean up from the surface of the water. So you kind of need to find that happy medium, I'm discovering. So I'm pretty happy with how this one looks. You can see some sort of petal formation, so I'll take it. It looks pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty pleased given that this is my first try. So clean up the water and then go in again with the dark blue. And I was happy with how the blues were spreading. So this one's kind of a blue design. I'm adding in 3 drops of the Pacific blue just to try to build a bigger surface area for my bullseye, and then putting in the lighter blue and then the teal. So I'm going to repeat this color pattern to build my bullseye. And I definitely think, just from my experiments today, that having polishes that spread in the water, finding those good polishes for water marbling is part of the struggle. So I am trying to do a chevron design for this dip here. So I'm drawing some horizontal lines from right to left across the top of the water, and I'm really trying to do a light touch to see if that helps. So then I'm also going in the opposite way to try to make nice little chevron shapes. We'll see how it turns out. So I'm most pleased with the middle section there. You can really see the kind of V-shaped chevrons. So that's what I'm going to try to aim for right here. So I'm going to dip my spoon in and clean up the surface of the water, and we'll see how it turns out. So this is my favorite one so far. I really like how those chevrons turned out, and I like how the blues in general look together. So this one I'm doing something a little different. I'm going with pink drops first, and I'm adding a couple in to try to build that bigger surface area because it kind of worked well in the last one. Then I'm taking the light blue and following it up with the teal. And I'm going to repeat this pattern to build my bullseye. Unfortunately, these aren't spreading nearly as well as I hoped. So I'm going to start drawing my design. I'm drawing from top to bottom, trying to secure on the edges of the cups. And then from top to bottom. And this one, I don't know, the colors just look really diluted. Maybe these just aren't good polishes to water marble with, I'm not sure. But I ended up with 4 pretty symmetrical petals, so I'm going in between each one and making kind of a starburst design. And then between each petal, I'm drawing back towards the center. And I really don't like how this one looks. I just think this one is a fail, so I'm just not even going to bother dipping with it. Let's try again. So I'm starting with 2 drops of the yellow, actually 3, just to try to make a nice big bullseye to fill up to the edges of the cups. And then I'm putting in some pink, and then a drop of the army green. And I'm going to repeat this to build my bullseye. So let's make our design. I'm going to draw up from top to bottom first. I'm really trying to use the super light touch just to see if that helps at all. So wiping off my tool in between every few strokes. So I make a petal shape, and then I'm trying to kind of do some horizontal lines and then one big swoop through, just to make like a, I was going for like a braided effect, I guess, like a swirl. So I'm aiming for that section there at the bottom. So I'm going to dip in. For some reason, this kind of reminds me of Neapolitan ice cream. I don't know why, like a banana split. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the green and pink and yellow. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I do like how this turned out. You can see a nice little swooping swirl in between. So I seem to be having the best luck with these blue polishes. So I'm going to make another blue design with the 3 different shades of blue, the light blue, the teal, and the bright blue. I'm going to build my bullseye this way. And you can see how that teal spreads so nicely. So I think that one's really good for water marbling, and some of them just aren't so much. And that's part of the struggle, to find a combination of colors that works. So that last drop's a little off center, but that's okay. Don't mind the top of my head. I was really getting in there to try to focus on what I was doing. So I just start drawing side to side, and then I'm going to go for the chevrons again. So making some vertical strokes from top to bottom, really trying to take my time and be neat and use a light touch. I think that's working the best so far, cleaning off my tool every couple strokes. And then between each line, I'm going in the opposite direction to make nice little chevron petals. These came out pretty good. I really like the V shapes I was able to create. So this one is my favorite design in the water so far. We'll see how it looks on spoon. So I'm going to aim just for those nice V's near the top of the cup. I'm going to dip in and clean up the surface of the water, and we'll see what we're left with. So I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. I think this looks great, and I'm really pleased. So I think I'm ready to start doing one on my actual nail. We'll see how this works. So I'm going to try to recreate the same design, and I'm using my hair glue latex barrier. I have an entire video about this product showing a live demonstration and review if you're curious, but I'm not going to take any chances with the cleanup because I've never actually dipped my hand into polish before. So I'm going up almost all the way to the first knuckle, making sure to get the back side and underneath my nail as well. Don't worry if you get any of the latex product on your actual nail, just use a dry Q-tip and it rubs right off once. So again, I'm going to try to recreate that design I just made because I thought it looked the best so far. So I'm using all 3 shades of blue to build my bullseye. And I'm not sure if this is going to show up over my red nails. I really didn't plan on doing one on my actual nails, so I didn't prep by adding an appropriate color base coat or anything. This is just the color I was wearing, and I'm just experimenting. So I'm going to do that chevron design again, kind of by going top to bottom, and every once in a while you just kind of get an outcome that you didn't expect. So this is really interesting. I'm having so much fun playing around with this. So I'm doing some lines from side to side, and then I'm going to go in the reverse direction to make those chevron petals. So it's actually really awkward to try to find the best angle to dip your finger in. So I'm sorry you can't really see what I'm doing. I was really just trying to aim for the nicest petal and not really focusing on what you could see on camera. So I'm going to clean up the surface of the water, and I'm so nervous to see how this turns out. Deep breath. So I'm going to slowly pull my finger out of the water and we'll see what we're left with. So I'm glad I put on as much peel off latex barrier as I did, because it did end up dipping farther than I thought. So I'm trying to find the best place to kind of get this started. So I'm starting on the back just to kind of keep it from ruining my design. And then I'm kind of loosening it on the front and pulling it off towards the tip of my nail. And it came off so well, it's saving me so much cleanup. Just a little bit around my knuckle, but I'll take it. This came out really well. So I'm going to add a top coat Seche Vite, and I'll show you the final result of this little practice water marble on my nail. So here's what we ended up with. I'm really happy with the chevrons. I think they look nice, and this is definitely something that I will do more of. I had so much fun playing with water marbles, and I will definitely do this again. So here's a still picture of the final marble. So let's critique my work here. Starting on the right, this was my first one. I'm really not that pleased with it, but for my first, it is what it is. The colors just didn't really spread that well and ended up kind of blending together and looking muddy. Second one here, I had a nice chevron going, so I like how that's turned out, and the color combination's pretty good too. And then I finally found the golden combination of the blues with chevrons. This one's kind of my ice cream swirl design, and the one on the left is the best. I love this one. I'm going to keep this forever. And there's it compared to my nail to see how they compare, because that's what I was going for, what was on the spoon. So I'm really happy. And here's a quick still picture of all of my finished spoons. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast playing around with water marbles, and I will definitely do more of this now that I've got the basics down, I think. So thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on social media. The link's below. Bye.